Captain Vexter stared at the data screen in his command center, his three eyes blinking in disbelief. The holographic display showed a planet rotating peacefully in space, but the numbers beside it told a different story. A story that should not be possible. Run the scan again, he ordered his science officer. Krill, his voice carried the authority of someone who had served the Galactic Council for 30 standard cycles. There must be an error. Krill's tentacles moved across the control panel with nervous energy. The young officer had only recently joined the Enforcement Division, and this was supposed to be a routine patrol mission. Sir, I have run the scan 4 times. The results are the same. Sol 3 shows signs of sapient life. Vexter felt his blood run cold. Sol 3 was listed in the Forbidden Catalog. It was a Class 13 Deathworld, the highest danger classification in the known galaxy. No sapient species had ever evolved on a Class 13 world. It was considered impossible by every xenobiologist in the Council. Show me the classification details, Vexter commanded. The screen changed, displaying Earth's profile. Vexter read through the list, and each line made him more uncomfortable. Atmospheric composition. 21% oxygen. Vexter touched his breathing mask instinctively. Oxygen at that concentration was highly toxic. It caused cellular damage and rapid aging in most species. The standard safe level was 8%. Maybe 10 for species with strong regeneration, gravity 1.0. Standard G that seemed normal until Vexter noticed the footnote. The standard measurement was based on Earth itself because it was one of the highest gravity worlds ever surveyed. Most civilized species evolved on worlds with 0.6 to 0.8 GA. Anything above 0.9 G was considered crushing. Surface temperature range: minus 18.9 to plus 56 degrees Celsius. Vexter shuddered. Such extreme variations would kill most beings within minutes. His own species, the Caldronians, required temperatures between 15 and 25 degrees to survive. Weather systems: Category 5 hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. The list went on and on. Biological hazards: millions of predator species, including apex predators weighing several tons. Microscopic organisms capable of causing fatal infections. Plant life that could poison or trap prey. This world is a nightmare, Vexter whispered. Nothing intelligent should live here. Sir, there is more, Krill said quietly. We detected radio signals, technology, cities. The beings on this planet have developed space travel. Vexter stood up from his command chair. His tall, thin frame swayed slightly as he moved closer to the screen. Space travel. From a Class 13 world? Yes, sir. We intercepted one of their probes 2 sectors away. It carries a message. Show me. The screen displayed a golden disc attached to a primitive spacecraft. The probe was old, traveling through space for decades. Krill activated the message, and a strange sound filled the command center. It was music, Vexter realized. Cheerful, happy music. Then came voices, speaking in dozens of different languages. The translation software worked quickly. Greetings from the people of Earth, the message said. We come in peace. We hope someday to join you in the cosmos. Vexter felt something he had not experienced in many years. Fear. These beings lived on a world that would kill him in minutes. They survived conditions that were used as execution methods on some council worlds. And they were cheerful about it. They wanted to make friends. What do we call them? Vexter asked, according to their own transmissions. They call themselves humans, Krill replied. Vexter returned to his chair and activated the emergency communication, channeled to the Galactic Council headquarters. This discovery was beyond his authority to handle alone. The Council's response came within hours. They were sending a full diplomatic team, but they wanted Vexter to make first contact. The orders were clear: establish communication, but maintain maximum distance. Treat the situation as a potential threat until proven otherwise, Vexter sent a message to Earth using the same frequencies their radio signals used. He kept the message simple and formal. This is Captain Vexter of the Galactic Council. We have received your greetings. We wish to establish peaceful contact. Please send a representative to neutral coordinates for a meeting. The response came faster than expected. Humans, it seemed, were eager to meet their galactic neighbors. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Space Agency. We accept your invitation with gratitude and excitement. We will send a shuttle to your coordinates. We come in peace and friendship." Vexter arranged for the meeting to take place at Station Kepler, a neutral trading post far from any inhabited worlds. He assembled a security team of 20 soldiers, all armed with the latest weapons. The station's medical bay was placed on high alert. Every precaution was taken. 3 days later, the human shuttle arrived. It was a small craft, primitive by galactic standards, but functional. Vexter watched from the observation deck as it docked. His security team surrounded the airlock, weapons ready, but not aimed. The airlock door opened. A figure stepped through wearing a white protective suit. The human was smaller than Vexter expected, maybe 1.7 meters tall. The figure reached up and removed the helmet. Vexter gasped. The human was breathing the station's atmosphere directly. No preparation, no adjustment period, no breathing apparatus. The station's air was considered safe for most species, but it still contained traces of compounds that required filtration. Commander Sarah Chen smiled at the assembled crowd. Her face was covered in that strange, smooth skin humans had. Her eyes looked forward, like a predator's eyes. She took a deep breath and spoke. "Hello. It is an honor to meet you all." Vexter realized something terrifying in that moment. Humans did not think their world was deadly. To them, Earth was home. They had no idea how impossible they were. This was going to change everything. Every Class 13 Deathworld was forbidden, but Earth was the exception. Part 2. The Delegation of Impossibilities. Conference room on Station Kepler was designed to accommodate 50 different species. The air mixture was carefully balanced, the temperature set at a comfortable 20 degrees, and the gravity maintained at 0.7 standard G. Every delegate wore breathing masks or protective suits, except one. Commander Sarah Chen sat in her chair wearing only a simple blue uniform. She smiled politely as 12 galactic representatives stared at her like she was a dangerous animal. Perhaps, Vexter thought, that was exactly what she was. "Thank you all for meeting with me," Sarah began. Her voice was calm and friendly. "Earth is honored to be considered for membership in the Galactic Council." Ambassador Chishara of the Palixian Unity spoke first. Her crystalline form flickered with nervous colors. "Commander Chen, forgive my directness, but we must address the obvious concern. Your world is classified as a Class 13 death world. No sapient species has ever evolved on such a planet." I understand your surprise," Sarah replied. "But humans did evolve on Earth. We have lived there for hundreds of thousands of years." Counselor Brexiner, a massive being from a low-gravity world, leaned forward carefully. Even the station's reduced gravity was difficult for him. "Commander, your planet's oxygen levels are toxic. How do you survive?" Sarah tilted her head slightly confused. "Toxic? We breathe oxygen? We need it to live. Our cells use it to create energy. But 21% concentration?" Dr. Ville, the Council's chief xenobiologist, interrupted. His forearms gestured wildly. "That level of oxygen causes oxidative stress. It damages DNA. It should kill you." "It does damage our DNA," Sarah admitted. "Our cells repair themselves constantly. We have systems to handle the oxidative stress. I suppose we evolved to manage it." Dr. Ville made a choking sound. "Evolved to manage it?" "Commander, do you understand what you are saying? Your species lives in a constant state of cellular damage and repair. What we consider a lethal environment, you consider normal." Vexter decided to intervene before Dr. Ville had a complete breakdown. "Commander Chen, perhaps you could help us understand Earth better. What is a typical day like for a human?" Sarah activated her datapad and projected images onto the central screen. "Of course, let me show you." The first image showed humans swimming in a vast body of water. The delegates gasped. "This is the ocean," Sarah explained. "Many humans enjoy swimming for recreation." "Recreation?" Ambassador Chishara's colors turned bright red with alarm. "Your oceans contain predators. We detected creatures weighing several tons with rows of teeth. Oh, sharks, Sarah nodded. Yes, they can be dangerous, but attacks are rare. Humans and sharks mostly avoid each other. We swim in the ocean all the time. The next image showed a human climbing a mountain. Snow and ice covered the peak. This is mountain climbing, Sarah continued. Some humans like to challenge themselves by reaching high altitudes. The oxygen level at that height must be half of your already toxic atmosphere, Counselor Brexner said weakly. And the temperature? ... Yes, it is cold and difficult to breathe, Sarah agreed. That is why people train for months before attempting it. It is considered an achievement. An achievement, Dr. Ville repeated. You deliberately put yourselves in life-threatening situations for fun? Sarah smiled. Well, when you put it that way, I suppose we do. Let me show you more, the images continued. Humans running long distances in extreme heat. Humans living in frozen regions where the temperature dropped to -40 degrees. Humans diving deep underwater without breathing equipment. Humans standing near active volcanoes. With each image, the delegates became quieter. Vexther watched their faces change from concern to disbelief to something like horror. Commander, he said finally, I must ask a difficult question. Do humans understand that other species are not as resilient as you are? Sarah paused. Her expression became serious. I think I am beginning to understand that now. When we received your first message, we were so excited. We thought we would meet beings like us, just from different worlds. But you are not like us, are you? No, Vexther said quietly. We are not. Dr. Ville pulled up Earth's biological data on his screen. Commander Chen, I have studied your species for the past 3 days. I have not slept because I cannot understand how you exist. You have forward-facing eyes like predators. You have sharp canine teeth for tearing meat. But you also have flat molars for grinding plants. You are omnivores. Yes, Sarah confirmed. Have long legs built for running, Dr. Ville continued. His voice rose with each point, but not for speed. For endurance. Your species can run for hours, chasing prey until it collapses from exhaustion. This is called persistence hunting. Only the most terrifying predators in the galaxy use this method. We don't hunt like that anymore, Sarah said softly. We developed agriculture thousands of years ago, but you evolved to do it. Dr. Ville was nearly shouting now. And then there's your social structure. You form packs. You bond with other species. You adopt animals as companions, even predators. I have seen your data files. Humans keep creatures called dogs and cats in their homes. Some humans die protecting these animals. This is pack bonding behavior taken to an extreme we have never observed. Sarah looked around the room. She saw fear in every face. I think I have made a mistake, she said. I came here hoping we could be friends. But I have only made you afraid of us. Vexther stood up. Commander Chen, you have not made a mistake. We are afraid, yes, but we are also amazed. Your species should not exist, yet you do. You should not have survived, yet you built a civilization. You should not be kind, yet you came here with friendship. The Council must vote on Earth's membership, Ambassador Trishara said. This has never happened before. We need time to consider. Sarah nodded. I understand. I will wait for your decision. As the meeting ended and the delegates filed out, Vexther noticed something strange. The station's environmental alarms flashed briefly, then went silent. He checked his datapad and saw a message from the security team. Unidentified biological signature detected in the ventilation system. Vexther's blood ran cold. He turned to warn the others, but it was too late. A pale mist began flowing from the air vents. Within seconds, delegates started collapsing. Their breathing masks offered no protection. The substance passed through filters like water through a net. Vexther felt his legs give out. As he fell, he saw Sarah Chen still standing. She coughed once, then reached for her emergency kit. The last thing Vexther thought before losing consciousness was a question. Why was the human still alive? Every Class 13 Deathworld was forbidden, but Earth was the exception #part. 3. When Deathworld's breed Resistanza Vexer woke to the sound of voices speaking in urgent tones, his head felt heavy, like it was filled with thick liquid. Every muscle in his body ached. He tried to open his eyes, but the light hurt too much. "Easy, Captain," a voice said. It was familiar. Human. You are safe now. Try not to move too quickly. Vexter managed to open one eye. He was lying in the medical bay. Commander Sarah Chen stood beside his bed wearing a filter mask now. But even through the mask, Vexter could see she looked tired, not sick. "What happened?" Vexter's voice came out weak and rough. "Bioweapon attack," Sarah replied. She held up a medical scanner. "Someone released a nerve agent into the station's ventilation system. It attacks neural tissue and shuts down motor functions. Without treatment, it is fatal within 6 hours." Vexter tried to sit up, but his body would not obey. The others? The delegates. Stable, but barely. "You were unconscious for 4 hours. We found the antidote in the station's emergency medical database and have been administering it to everyone." Sarah adjusted something on the medical monitor beside his bed. "You will recover, but it will take time." "You treated us?" Vexter asked. "Why are you not sick?" Sarah pulled down her mask briefly. "I am sick. I have a fever, body aches, and a terrible headache. But humans have very aggressive immune systems. We fight off infections constantly. This weapon was designed to kill neural tissue, but my body is already attacking it. For me, it feels like a bad flu. For you, it is deadly." Vexer stared at her in disbelief. "A bad flu? You are saying this weapon is not serious for humans?" "Oh, it is serious," Sarah corrected him. "Just not immediately fatal. Earth has billions of microorganisms that attack us every day. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. Our immune systems evolved to fight constant biological warfare. This weapon is powerful, but our bodies recognize it as an infection and respond accordingly." The door to the medical bay opened. Lieutenant Park Ji-woo, another member of the human delegation, entered. He looked as tired as Sarah, but was clearly functional. He carried a data pad. "Commander, we traced the weapon's origin," Ji-woo reported. "It came from a concealed device in Conference Room 3. The signature matches Xinthian technology." "The Xinthian Empire," Sarah said quietly. She looked at Vexter. "Captain, did you know they planned this?" "No," Vexter gasped. The effort of speaking exhausted him. "The Xinthians believe Class 13 worlds should be sterilized. They have always voted for strict quarantine policies. But attacking a neutral station? This is an act of war." "They are still on the station," Ji-woo said. For Xinthian operatives sealed themselves in the cargo bay. They are wearing environmental suits and waiting for everyone else to die. They sent a message claiming responsibility and demanding Earth be declared a forbidden zone." Sarah's expression hardened. Vexter saw something in her eyes that he had not seen before. It was not anger exactly. It was the cold calculation of a predator deciding how to handle a threat. "Ji-woo, get the rest of our team. We are going to have a conversation with these Xinthians." "Commander, is that wise?" Vexter tried to warn her. "Xinthians are warriors. They are trained soldiers. Dangerous." Sarah looked at him, and for the first time Vexter saw her smile without warmth. "Captain, I appreciate your concern. But humans did not become the dominant species on Earth by being peaceful. We are very good at violence when necessary. We just prefer not to use it." 30 minutes later, Vexter watched through the security cameras as Sarah and 3 other humans approached the cargo bay. They wore simple protective suits, nothing fancy. They carried no weapons. The Xinthian operatives, by contrast, were heavily armed with plasma rifles and energy shields. The lead Xinthian, Commander Zektar, activated the external speaker. His voice was filled with confidence. "Humans, you should be dead. How are you still alive?" Sarah stopped 10 meters from the cargo bay door. Her voice came through clearly on the speakers. "The weapon was not strong enough. Now, I am giving you one chance to surrender peacefully." Zektar laughed. It was a harsh, barking sound. "You dare threaten us?" We are Xinthian warriors. We have conquered 12 systems. Your primitive species is no match for us. I am not threatening you, Sarah replied calmly. I am giving you a choice. Surrender now, or we will come in and get you. You have no weapons? Zektar shouted. We will kill you the moment you open that door. Sarah turned to Ji-Woo and the other two humans. They nodded to each other. Then Sarah turned back to the door. Last chance, she said. We do not surrender to prey. Zektar roared. Sarah sighed. Ku cut the door. What happened next occurred so quickly that Vexthor's injured brain struggled to process it. Gu used a plasma cutter to slice through the door's locking mechanism. The moment the door opened, the Xinthians fired their weapons. Plasma bolts lit up the corridor, but the humans were not there. They had moved the instant the door began opening, scattering in different directions with a speed and coordination that shocked Vexthor. The plasma fire hit empty air. Sarah threw something small into the cargo bay. It exploded with a brilliant flash and a deafening sound. The Xinthians stumbled, their sensitive eyes and hearing overwhelmed. Before they could recover, the humans rushed in. Vexthor expected violence, but what he saw was precision. The humans moved like they had trained together for years. They used the Xinthians' own momentum against them, redirecting attacks and disabling weapons with efficient strikes. Within 90 seconds, all 4 Xinthian operatives were on the ground, disarmed and restrained. Not a single shot was fired by the humans. They used only their bodies and their understanding of movement and leverage. Sarah stood over Zektar, who lay on the floor with his hands bound. You called us prey, she said. That was your mistake. On Earth, the line between predator and prey is not clear. Humans are both. We learned to hunt, and we learned to survive being hunted. That made us very, very good at combat. Zektar stared up at her with something like terror in his eyes. What are you? We are humans, Sarah replied. We come from a world where everything tries to kill us. We survived by being smarter, tough, and more adaptable than everything else. You wanted to know if we were dangerous? Yes, Commander. We are very dangerous. We just choose not to be unless we have to. Later, after the Xinthians were secured and Vexthor had recovered enough to stand, Sarah visited him again in the medical bay. I apologize if we frightened you, Captain, she said. But I needed to protect the delegates. Vexthor looked at this small human who had saved everyone on the station. Commander Chen, I am not frightened of you. I am frightened for the galaxy if it makes humans into enemies. Sarah nodded slowly. Then perhaps the galaxy should accept us as friends instead. Vexthor smiled weakly. I will recommend exactly that to the Council. Every Class 13 Deathworld was forbidden, but Earth was the exception, ##. Part 4. The Deathworld Doctrine, the Galactic Council Chamber, was the largest room Vexthor had ever seen. It held representatives from 200 species, each with their own section designed for their unique needs. Some floated in zero gravity. Others sat in pools of liquid. Some required darkness, while others needed bright light. The chamber accommodated them all. Today, the chamber was filled with tension. Every representative was focused on the small human standing at the center platform. Commander Sarah Chen stood alone under the spotlights, waiting for the council to decide Earth's fate. Hi, Chancellor Mordok. It's an ancient being from a long-lived species, called the Session to Order. His voice echoed through the chamber. We are here to vote on an unprecedented matter. Earth, a Class 13 Deathworld, has requested membership in the Galactic Council. This has never been done before. The debate will now begin. Ambassador Chishara was the first to speak. Her crystalline form glowed with nervous energy. I oppose Earth's membership. Not because humans are evil, but because they are too different. They survive conditions that kill us. They fight with efficiency we cannot match. They resist weapons designed to kill all sapient life. How can we negotiate with beings we cannot threaten or stop? Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Councillor Brexener spoke next. I agree with Ambassador Chishara, but for different reasons. If we admit Earth, we break our oldest law. Class 13 worlds are forbidden because they produce beings too dangerous for civilized space. If we make one exception, we must explain why. What happens when other dangerous species demand the same treatment? Sarah listened quietly, her face calm. Vexter, standing in the Caldronian section, watched her carefully. She did not look angry or defensive. She looked patient, like someone waiting for others to finish speaking before offering a solution. Dr. Ville stood up in the science section. Vexter was surprised. The xenobiologist had been so disturbed by human biology that he had requested a leave of absence. Now he spoke with passion. "I have studied humans for weeks," Dr. Ville announced. "I have analyzed their biology, their psychology, their history. Yes, they are dangerous. Yes, they are impossible, but they are also necessary." The chamber fell silent. "Explain." High Chancellor Mordock commanded. Dr. Ville activated a holographic display showing Earth. Humans evolved on a world that should have killed them. But instead of making them cruel or violent, it made them cooperative. Human history is filled with examples of strangers helping each other during disasters. They have a saying, "Stronger together." This is not just a nice phrase. It is their survival strategy. The display changed to show human cities, hospitals, and schools. Humans developed complex societies based on mutual support. They created medicine to heal each other. They built shelters to protect the weak. They invented education to share knowledge. All of this came from living on a world where cooperation meant survival. "They are also violent," Ambassador Chishara argued. "We saw how icily they defeated trained Xinthian soldiers." Yes, Dr. Ville agreed. Because Earth taught them to be both compassionate and capable of violence. They can negotiate peace, but they can also fight when needed. Is this not what the Council requires? Beings who prefer peace, but can defend themselves? Vexter stood up. "I request permission to speak." High Chancellor Mordock nodded. "The Council recognizes Captain Vexter." "I was the first to meet Commander Chen," Vexter said. "I was afraid of her and her species. I thought they were monsters disguised as civilized beings. Then they saved my life. They saved all of us on Station Kepler. They could have let us die. They could have taken the station for themselves. Instead, they gave us medical treatment and captured the terrorists without killing them. That is when I understood. Humans are not monsters. They are survivors who chose to be kind." The chamber erupted in discussion. Some representatives argued for acceptance, others for rejection. The debate continued for hours. Finally, High Chancellor Mordock raised his hand for silence. "Commander Chen, you have heard our concerns. Do you wish to address the Council before we vote?" Sarah stepped forward. "Yes, thank you. I understand your fear. I understand your doubts. Earth is dangerous. Humans are dangerous. We do not deny this. But danger is not the same as evil." She paused, looking around the chamber. "Earth taught us many lessons. It taught us that life is precious because it is fragile. It taught us that cooperation beats competition. It taught us that the strong should protect the weak. These are not the lessons of a death world. These are the lessons of a world that made us fight for every moment of existence." Sarah activated her own datapad, showing images of Earth. "You see a Class 13 death world. I see home. You see lethal oxygen levels. I see the air that gives us life. You see crushing gravity. I see the force that made our bones strong. You see predators and disasters. I see challenges that made us clever and resilient." The images showed humans of all types working together, building, creating, healing. "You worry about making us into enemies," Sarah continued. "But we do not want to be your enemies. We want to be your friends. We want to learn from you and share what we know. Yes, we can fight. Yes, we can survive terrible conditions. But we would rather use those abilities to help than to harm." She looked directly at High Chancellor Mordock. "Make us the exception. Not because we are special, but because exceptions are how rules grow. Your laws were made thousands of years ago when no one had met a species like us. Now you have. Do not let old fears stop new friendships." The chamber was silent. Then High Chancellor Mordock spoke. The Council will now vote. All in favor of granting Earth provisional membership, signal now. Lights appeared across the chamber as representatives voted. Vexter pressed his own signal immediately. Dr. Ville voted yes. Slowly, more and more lights appeared, but a large section of the chamber remained dark. The Zynthian Empire and their allied systems refused to vote in favor. High Chancellor Mordock counted the votes. The motion passes with 67% approval. Earth is granted provisional membership for a trial period of 10 standard cycles. However, I must note the significant opposition. Loud alarm interrupted him. The chamber's security system activated, and holographic displays showed urgent news. A fleet of Zynthian warships had entered Council space. They were heading toward Earth. The Zynthian representative stood up. The Empire does not recognize this vote. We are implementing Protocol 13, Deathworld Containment. Earth will be quarantined by force. Any attempt to leave the Sol system will be considered an act of war. Sarah turned pale. You are sending a fleet to attack my home. We are sending a fleet to protect the galaxy, the Zynthian representative replied coldly. This vote was a mistake. We will correct it. Vexter felt his heart sink. The Council had just made peace with humans, and now war was coming. He looked at Sarah and saw something he had never seen before in her expression. She was not afraid. She was angry. Every Class 13 Deathworld was forbidden, but Earth was the exception. Part 5. The exception that proved the rule of the Zynthian containment fleet was massive. 50 warships, each one capable of destroying a city with a single bombardment. Admiral Krelzath commanded from the flagship, confident in his mission. Earth would be surrounded, isolated, and forced to submit. If humans resisted, the fleet would demonstrate superior firepower until they understood their place. We are approaching the Sol system, his navigation officer reported. Estimated arrival in 2 hours. Krelzath studied the tactical display. Earth's defenses appeared minimal. A few orbital stations, some satellites, and approximately 20 small military vessels. Nothing that could challenge his fleet. Have we received any response from Earth? Krelzath asked. A single message from their military command. It says, please reconsider. We do not want this fight. Krelzath laughed. They beg already? Excellent. Prepare a response. Tell them to surrender all space-capable vessels and accept quarantine. If they comply, no one needs to die. Message sent, Admiral. They waited. 1 hour passed. The fleet crossed into the Sol system. Earth's blue and green surface appeared on the long-range scanners. Admiral, we have a new message from Earth. Read it. It says we asked you to reconsider. You did not listen. We are sorry for what happens next. Krelzath frowned. Sorry. They apologized before surrendering. Strange, sir. I am detecting new contacts. The sensor officer's voice rose with alarm. Multiple vessels emerging from behind Earth's moon, and more near Mars. Admiral, they were hiding. The tactical display lit up with red markers. Human ships appeared from concealed positions throughout the system. Not 20 vessels. 200. How did we miss them? Krelzath demanded. Their ships are small, Admiral. They use stealth technology, and they were powered down, making them nearly invisible until they activated. Krelzath studied the display more carefully. The human ships were indeed small, perhaps 1/4 the size of his warships. But there were many of them, and they moved fast. All ships, battle formation. Prepare to engage. Show them the power of the Zynthian Empire. The human fleet did not wait. They attacked immediately, their ships moving with incredible speed and agility. They did not charge straight at the Zynthian fleet like honorable warriors. Instead, they scattered in all directions, using the asteroids and planets as cover. They fight like cowards, Krelzath shouted. All ships, pursue and destroy. The first exchange of fire shocked the Zynthians. Human weapons, while smaller than Zynthian plasma cannons, fired with devastating accuracy. More importantly, human ships could maneuver in ways that should have been impossible. They turned sharply, accelerated quickly, and endured forces that would crush most vessels. Admiral, how are they moving like that? His tactical officer asked. Those acceleration rates would kill their crews. Krelzoth suddenly understood. These ships were built for Earth's crushing gravity in harsh conditions. What seemed like extreme force to other species was normal for humans. Their ships were made to survive their own planet, which meant they could handle combat stress that would destroy regular vessels. Adjust tactics, Krelzoth ordered. Stop chasing them. Form defensive positions and force them to come to us. But humans had no intention of playing by traditional rules. They did not attack in formation. They attacked in small groups, hitting weak points and retreating before the Xinthians could respond effectively. They used every piece of space debris, every planetary body, every advantage they could find. A human vessel flew directly through Saturn's rings, using the ice and rock as concealment. When a Xinthian ship pursued, the human vessel suddenly reversed course and fired at point-blank range. Destroying the pursuer before disappearing back into the rings, another group of human ships lured Xinthian vessels close to Jupiter, then used the planet's gravity well to slingshot themselves away, while their enemies struggled with the massive gravitational forces. They're not fighting, Krelzoth protested. They are playing tricks. His communication officer looked up from his station. Admiral, I think that is the point. They are not trying to destroy us in direct combat. They are trying to make us waste ammunition and tire our crews.
Hours passed.
The battle continued, but the Xinthians were not winning. They were not losing either, but they were exhausted. Human ships kept attacking, retreating, and attacking again from different angles. It was like fighting shadows. Then the human fleet changed tactics. All vessels simultaneously accelerated toward the Xinthian formation. Krelzoth smiled. Finally, a real fight. All weapons, fire at will. The Xinthian fleet unleashed everything. Plasma cannons, missile batteries, energy beams. The space between the fleets lit up with weapons fire, and the human ships flew right through it. They took hits. Krelzoth saw several human vessels take damage, but they did not stop. Their hulls, built to survive Earth's deadly conditions, absorbed punishment that would vaporize normal ships, and they kept coming. The human fleet passed through the Xinthian formation like a swarm, firing at close range. Xinthian shields, designed to stop long-range attacks, were less effective against point-blank fire. Several Xinthian ships took critical damage. Then, just as quickly, the human fleet was past them, regrouping on the other side. Damage report, Krelzoth demanded. 15 ships severely damaged, 3 destroyed. Admiral, we cannot win this fight. Their ships are too fast, too tough, and there are too many of them. Krelzoth felt something he had never experienced in 30 years of military service. Doubt. Open. A channel to Earth Command, he said. Quietly, a human face appeared on the screen. It was not Commander Sarah Chen. It was an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. This is Admiral James Morrison of Earth Defense. Are you ready to discuss terms, Admiral Krelzoth? You knew we would come, Krelzoth said. Of course. We have been preparing for this possibility since we joined the Council. We did not want to fight you. We asked you to reconsider, but you did not listen. Could have destroyed us, Krelzoth realized. Your ships are superior in this environment. You could have wiped out my fleet. Admiral Morrison nodded. Yes, but we do not want to kill you. We want you to understand something important. Earth made us dangerous, but it also made us compassionate. We learned that making enemies is easy. Making friends is harder but more valuable. What do you want? Krelzoth asked. Surrender your weapons and accept Council peacekeepers on your ships. No one else needs to die today. Your crews will receive medical treatment, and your damaged ships will be repaired. Then you will return home with a message for your empire. What message? That humans are not your enemies unless you make us enemies. Choose wisely. Krelzoth looked at his bridge crew. They were exhausted, afraid, and demoralized. He looked at the tactical display showing the human fleet surrounding them. Then he made his decision. We surrender. 3 months later, Vexthor stood in the council chamber again. But this time, the mood was different. The vote was unanimous. High Chancellor Mordock spoke clearly. Earth has proven itself worthy of full membership. The Council recognizes humans as the first and only sapient species to evolve on a Class 13 Deathworld. Earth is hereby granted the designation Class 13, exception, in all rights and privileges of Council membership. Sarah Chen stood at the center platform smiling. Thank you. Earth accepts with honor and humility. There is one additional matter. High Chancellor Mordock continued. The Council requests that Earth establish a training academy for crisis response and dangerous environment operations. Your species has unique skills that could benefit the entire galaxy. Sarah nodded. We would be happy to share what we know. After the ceremony, Vexter approached Sarah in the reception area. Congratulations, Commander. Or should I say Ambassador? I hear you are being promoted. Sarah laughed. Thank you, Captain. And I hear you accepted a permanent position as Earth's Council liaison. Someone needs to explain humans to the galaxy, Vexter said. After meeting your species, nothing else frightens me. Is that a compliment? The highest one I can give. You know, when I first received orders to investigate Sol 3, I thought it would be a simple mission. Document the impossible life signs and report back. I never imagined it would change everything. Sarah looked out the window at the stars. Earth changed us too. It made us survivors. But we chose what kind of survivors to be. Not conquerors. Not destroyers. Just people trying to live and help others live too. That is why you are the exception, Vexter said. Not because you are dangerous, but because you chose to be kind despite the danger. 6 months later, the Human Academy opened on Station Kepler. The first class of students from across the galaxy gathered to learn what humans called Deathworld. Protocols. The opening lecture was taught by Commander Sarah Chen. She stood before a classroom filled with nervous students and smiled warmly. Welcome, she said. Today we begin with a simple lesson. I am going to show you a video of human children playing in the rain. The video played. Children ran through puddles, laughing and splashing each other. Lightning flashed in the background. Thunder rolled. On Earth, even joy is dangerous, Sarah explained. Rain can carry disease. Lightning can kill. The cold can cause hypothermia. But humans play in the rain anyway. We learn to assess risk, take precautions, and live fully despite danger. She looked at her students. That is what we will teach you. Not how to be human, but how to face impossible situations and survive them. How to help others when everything seems hopeless. How to turn danger into opportunity. Young Palixian student raised their hand. Teacher, can we really learn what took humans millions of years to evolve? Sarah smiled. You will not evolve like humans. But you can learn what humans discovered, that survival is not about being the strongest or the fastest. It is about being smart, adaptable, and willing to help each other. Those things can be taught, so Earth's exception became the galaxy's greatest advantage. Humans, who should never have existed, became the teachers who showed the galaxy how to survive the impossible. Because if there was one thing humans knew how to do, it was surviving.